Good evening, guys. Good evening. My name is Cheryl Grabowski, and we want to get right into why I'm here tonight. I want to let you guys know that I am a survivor of narcissistic abuse. I come from a narcissistic family where there were lots of narcissism going on. I've been around a lot of narcissists, relatives, and friends. I went to a narcissistic church. I've been around a lot of narcissists in the church, including the clergy and everything else. Okay, so they say that our society, especially America, is a lot narcissistic, and there is an epidemic of NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. I am not a psychiatrist. I am an individual who has experienced a whole lot of toxic people, and thank God there were so many questions that I needed answered in my life that God made sure that I figured out what was going on. What's up, Daisy? Hey, Eugene. Now listen, I got 2% on my iPad, and I got to read this article, this paragraph to y'all, and then I'm gonna jump right in it. The reason why I want to read this, hey everybody coming in, hey Jonathan. The reason why I want to read this is because it's only like a paragraph, y'all. So just stay here with the paragraph, and then I'm gonna jump in with my life experience and let you know what's been going on the whole time. I really believe that I am literally living and have lived this life, in my personal opinion, in this life term. I believe that I've lived before, but I'm just saying that's my belief. But I believe that I was put here for this purpose. Okay, now listen. Y'all, welcome to the live. Let me go ahead and attach this so that it won't die while I'm reading. And y'all, I hate to read because I don't need to. Okay, but honey, this thing right here jumped out at me. So for everybody catching the replay, all right. Last night, narcissism in the church, that's what it's called. So last night I ran across a YouTube video that really haunted me, the writer is saying. The entire church across all denominations has a serious problem with toxic and abusive leaders, pastors, elders, etc. Something like 1/3 of them are clinical narcissists. Religious careers attract those kinds of people, and for good reason. It's such an easy source of narcissistic supply. It is such an easy source of narcissistic supply. First of all, this is a big factor behind the toxic atmosphere so many people deal with in their churches. We almost done. The gospel, the dirty church politics behind the scenes. Like, for example, blackballing people. That's narcissistic. The abuse, the false teachings, etc., etc. These teachers are shining examples of Peter 2:2. People who didn't choose a religion career out of the love for God, but out of the love for self. The need for narcissistic supply and the desire to be served rather than to serve the congregation. These folks are also the reason so many people are leaving the faith altogether. What's up, Jalen? This is the reason so many people are leaving the faith, leaving churches altogether. Narcissistic abuse. They never wanted to go into ministry to serve, but to be served. And if they understand, and they do, that the way that most churches teach it, the pastor is the authoritative figure. The pastor is the only person that God is speaking to in the church when it's time for the speaking to go on. That person, that minister, is the set person that God has ordained to speak to, and then to speak directly to the people under, they say, the unction of the Holy Spirit. You know, it's really this is almost triggering, but I've dealt with so much of my church trauma that I really believe that this message, that I'll be able to communicate effectively and with no glitches. Narcissism and ministry. This is one of the things that has brought me so much emotional distress in my life. Being around narcissists and then they were in ministry. Because remember, the narcissist is not capable of love because they don't have empathy. So if you don't have empathy, you cannot love. Well, then you might be asking the question, so Sugar Basket, well then, how do they speak for God and they don't have empathy, so they can't put themselves in other people's shoes, like in the congregation? They can't put themselves in the congregant's shoes. But what they can do is stand on the holy hill and proclaim all the commandments, all the don't do this, or God is going to do that. They can do that. They can tell you about all the consequences of your bad behavior. They can tell you all of that. They can also garner your sympathy and your empathy. And they can also let you know that if you speak against them, then God is going to unalive you or put a curse on you. It's the perfect environment for a narcissist, for someone who wants narcissistic supply. Somebody might say, Sugar Basket, what is narcissistic supply? That's the need to feed off of other people, because you yourself you're not a real person. You don't even have a real self. You really cannot have empathy for others. You don't know what that is, because you don't feel emotions for other people. It's only you. So the church environment is the perfect environment for a narcissist. I believe that we look behind the veil, that you guys will be shocked that you are sitting in a church and have been sitting there with a narcissist the whole time. This entity, I'm not even going to call them a person. I cannot be that gracious. I cannot give them that much anything. That's not a real person. That's an entity. They are saying that when a person has NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, that person left a long time ago. There is no original person there. That person been gone. That house, this body, that construct is occupied by some other entity without empathy. This entity cannot feel for other people. These narcissists are vessels of negative energy. I mean, terrible. They will do the damnedest things and turn around and spiritually and emotionally manipulate you. They'll be sitting there telling you, listen, I need you to forgive me because the Bible says to do that. But at the same time, they're not going to forgive nobody. They're not going to do what the Bible say, but they're going to hold it to you. The church is infested with narcissists in leadership and in the pulpit. And I promise you that I know these things for sure. Hello, Anita Clark. How you doing? When I was in the church, and out of all the churches that I have visited and went through, I look back through the pages of time, through the different ones, and now I run them under my narc detector. Do you see what I'm saying? These kind of preachers, it's all about the show. It's all about the service. It's all about what people are looking at them and how they have to appear to do what's right, when everybody around them know that they're not right. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm baffled by the church. I'm baffled by the regular people and the empaths. I'm baffled because it seems to me that Spirit or God will have a problem with them because they don't know that they're with a demon. How do you not know that you've been worshiping with a demon the whole time? How do you not know that you're with a person who is exploiting you? for your ability to read and to pray, for your ability to intercede, for your ability to love, for those things, for your ability to go work and bring your tithes and offerings to them. Don't you know you've been exploited? I don't understand the empath and the regular person. How do you worship with a demon for 40 years and not know that they're a demon? How do you do that? And then you claim to know God. Something is wrong with that picture. It's not okay. It's not all right. But somebody might say, well, Cheryl, you have taught yourself that the mask that the narcissist wears, the religious narcissist, is impeccable. That the mask, they wearing a mask and it's Oscar worthy. That they could be Denzel Washington because they're on screen or on stage in your life. The narcissistic preacher, the preacher with MPD, is just as good as one of the best actors that we've ever known. And every time they come to church and stand behind their pulpit, they're on stage in your life. Now, when you go to the pastor's house, or you might go to dinner with the pastor, and then the pastor does all kinds of things that he or she is not supposed to do, then the first thing that the empath and the regular person say, oh, well, sure, they're just human like everybody else. That's never going to be okay, because no, they're not like anybody else. They're preaching the gospel. They are speaking for source, for spirit, for God. They do not have love. They are not genuine. They are not authentic. They cannot love you. They don't know what love is because they can't feel it. But they say that they are shepherding God's flock and that they are watching over your soul, when in actuality, they are stealing the very life force from you. And they are exploiting every good thing that God ever gave you. That's the reality. 30 and 40 years serving a narcissist. 30 or 40 years serving a narcissist and not knowing it? Or do they know it and they say, well, that's what it is? What do y'all think? This is the thing. This is so problematic, because what do you think God say about this? See, when it came to my first husband and ministry and the life that we had, I knew he didn't love me and the kids or the church people. That was the biggest problem. It took me a long time, though. It took me years. You see me on live. You can't get the charger right now. You can't get it right now. There's no way, because I'm on live. Just give me about, thank you, 10 minutes. So, I lost my train of thought, Lord. I just don't know. I don't know what is going on. Oh, I remember what I was saying. So I knew that the husband didn't love me and the kids. Of course, he didn't love the congregation. He didn't. Those are the facts. He did not. He loved himself. You know, people do. That first church that I told y'all about, in my opinion, that pastor's a narcissist too. Everything about that pastor says narc. Everything. Hey, Shelly. The way that pastor walks, the way that pastor talks, the way that person leads, is giving narc 1000%. What is a narcissist? A person who lacks empathy. A person who exploits people. A person who gaslights, manipulates, dominates. A person who blackballs. A person who talks to grown people like they are children. Right in the church service. Right there in the church service. A person who tells the other people in the church service while church is going on that this minister and this minister and this minister, these people are ministers, and tell everybody out loud that these people don't pay their tithes or whatever else they want to say. You people have been serving narcissists the whole time. My God, my name is Cheryl Grabowski. I'm the narc slayer. Okay, I've recovered from narcissistic abuse. Being around people who don't care nothing about you. Talk to you like a dog. Talk to you hard. Treat you hard. Turning their nose up at you. You ain't nothing. You ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? And all of this and all of that. Looking back through the pages of time, you know, Cheryl Grabowski is awesome. So the way that I have journeyed through this life of narcissistic abuse is amazing. I am so proud of myself for asking myself the hard questions. So proud that I dealt with that spirit of fear, because that is the narcissist. The ministry pastors and bishops with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, their biggest weapon against you is fear. Fear and intimidation. Fear and intimidation. Somebody might say, well, sure, well, how do they intimidate you? Because number one, narcissists are bold. For the most part, especially a grandiose narcissist, the one that function in grandiosity. We'll say, sure, what is grandiosity? It's a person who has an exaggerated sense of self. Not good self-esteem. Not that. But an exaggerated. They coming in like they some type of superhero and got everybody else around them, especially their congregants, worshiping them like they are God. Do y'all remember the preacher from North Carolina? And I think people in other countries, probably all over the world, remember that guy. What's up, Monique? That they used to call Daddy Grace. Y'all remember that character man, that man that they used to call Daddy Grace with the long nails and the long wavy hair that he wore back in a ponytail? Do y'all remember that man? And all them people worship that man and say that he was going to be resurrected like the story of Jesus. And people waited for years. Instead of them saying, we worship you, Jesus, it was, we worship you, Daddy Grace. And they have churches all over the world. Those churches are paid for and built from the beginning. Like, they take up money like it's a solid system. Narcissism. You talking about idolatry. You talking about idolatry. How much, when people see no wrong in their preacher, when you go to, I just got a serious download. When you are afraid to confront your preacher and tell your pastor that they flat-footed wrong, and you shaking in your boots, like this person is Superman, Superwoman, the Incredible Hulk, or any one of the Marvel characters, then you need to check yourself. Because you doing too much. You worshiping that preacher. Narcissism and ministry coming in with some strong negative energy, very intimidating energy. You be shaking in your boots to say anything to them people. You be thinking God gonna strike you down and that he gonna put you in a hell for holding them people accountable for what they do and say. That's how you know you in the presence of a narcissist. Not just a narcissist, but the one with the NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Ashley, come and get the charger. Come and you got your mama's charger? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you scared and nervous around that person, what you say, Monique? If you scared and nervous around that person, you need to check yourself, because it ain't nothing but another human being. If you think about love, then this is one of the biggest problems. This I was at that church I was telling y'all about. This is one of the biggest problems right here. This is it. When this preacher got you scared of them, I'm telling you, scared to question them, scared to say anything. When they could just, when you talk, they invalidate everything that you say if it goes against what they believe. You see what I'm saying? It's domination. And also, another way you could tell if you're in a church with a narcissist, the way that they preach their Bible. Now, I say this about the Bible, because y'all know I don't believe that it's authentic. You see what I'm saying? I believe that it's been altered just like everything else man has ever put his hands on. That's what I believe. Anything we touch, we manipulate. Anything. That's just how we are as humans. Okay, but this is the thing about the preacher with MPD. The preacher with MPD, this is one of the ways that you tell what your pastor is. They're going to go into their Bible, and the most intimidating, domineering, scary type of spirit that they can pull out and feed back to you, that's what they're going to do in order to give themselves power. They're always going to make sure that they exaggerate the scriptures that are pertaining to them having power and dominion over you. Always. And number two is what they're going to do. After they do that, after they solidify their position in your life, and you're going to make sure, they're going to make sure that you fear them. That's number one. Number two, they're going to draw a clean line between those people that are right and those people that are wrong. And so if you are part of their ministry, and if they deem you to be a person that will listen to them and obey them, if they know that they have power and dominion over you, and they know, because you know when you around a person, you know what you can do with that person. You know that yourself, right? So once they establish that, then what they gonna do, they gonna draw that line, and they gonna tell you that these people over here, those are the bad people, and these people over here are the good people. So who are the good people? The people that do what they say. Those are the good people. The people that are soft and timid, those people who are already beat down and ran over, could have come from broken homes. People that need validation. Because the preacher, that's the narcissist with the MPD, operate very much like the person in your life in the romantic relationship narcissist. They use the same tactics. It's the same thing, okay? But in a church, it's this main narc who may have assigned other narcs with them, and then they are over the regular people and the empaths in the congregation. They got the scapegoats out there. They got they ain't gonna have too much of a truth teller. That's why I could never stay in the church. I was always in trouble everywhere I went. Everywhere. Because they knew what kind of, what's up, Angela? They knew what kind of spirit I had even before I knew it. Before I recognized that I was a storyteller. But not the storyteller, but before I recognized I was a truth teller. Before I knew that. Before, and you would say, well, Cheryl, because some of y'all might be truth tellers too. What makes you a truth teller? What makes you a truth teller is, in spite of the indoctrination from the pastor who with the MPD, in spite of that, in spite of the system in the church that narcissists have put down to play, in spite of that, in spite of the titles, the apostle, the bishop, the teacher, the pastor, in spite of all of that, in spite of the power that you perceive from that person, their role and everything, how they run them, in spite of all of that, you can feel and you know what's true and what's not. The truth teller. You can tell what's real and what's not. And if you can't tell it, because sometimes truth tellers don't realize that they are a truth teller, because there's two different places in you. All the time we're functioning with two minds. You say, Cheryl Baskin, what is that? You function with your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Now the subconscious mind, you know, that's where there's be a lot going on down up in there. Okay, that's where them vibes and the vibration come from. So a person might be saying this, proclaiming that, but it ain't real. They're the actor. They're on stage in your life. You know they're not authentic. That's not real. That's not really them. That's a role that they're playing. right? Like they're in a movie. It's a role. So when the bishop come to church and put their bishop face on, which is the mask, put the bishop cloak on, okay, and got the Bible and the Bible scriptures, they're coming to dominate you. They're coming to take this Bible, find the most provocative literature, scriptures or scriptings in there, and then they're going to spit it back at you. And then they're going to tell you to obey it, or you know what else, you know what's going to happen to you. Meanwhile, if you, the truth teller, eventually, this area down in here will begin to show you that something ain't right. You might not know cognitively what's going on, but down below you know what's going on. You know that it's a forest. And then at the same time, the preacher with the MPD gonna recognize you too, because they gonna know who they can dominate and who they cannot. And the one that they cannot dominate, they're gonna pin as a bad person. They're gonna pin you as a bad person. You might be in ministry. You might be the type of person where you really love source, you really love God, you really love people, right? But if that preacher with that NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, narcissism in ministry, if they know, and they know because they have something that's called the instinct. And y'all say, sure, what is that? You know, a lion, a tiger, and a bear. You know, when they out there in that wilderness, and in order for them to survive, they know what's going on in their environment. They know who's in the environment. They got a keen ear. They can hear. They got keen eyes. They can see. They even see in the dark. The narcissist in your life, the bishop, the apostle, the pastor, the leader, the teacher, all of that, they know how it works. So they know you. When you vibrating on that other vibration of the truth teller, they know who you are. So really, they're going to really come to you and try to dim your light, dominate you, and stomp you out, because they need to get you out the way, because you vibrating at another level, and they're not going to be able to handle that, because something about you, you see them for who they are, not the mask that they wear. You see them for who they are, not the mask that they wear. But most of the people only see the mask. And that is our problem in our society. We're in 2024. It's too late in the day to be messing around with a mask. You got to be able to discern. The church is always talking about discerning, and they have no discernment. They have what you call instinct. A lot of them, not all of them. The truth teller has intuition. The church people and the narcissists got what you call instinct, like the lion. He senses that something is wrong, and he gonna act on it. But intuition is not like that. Intuition is different. Intuition senses, sees, smells, tastes. The fraudulent narcissist, they know that that is a demon. Ashlyn, shut the door, because I hear your phone. Shut the door. They know that it's a demon. So listen, over the years, I am 53 years old, right? So 5 years ago, I realized what was going on in my life and had been going on the whole time. My name is Cheryl Grabowski. I'm the narc slayer. You understand? And now in 2024, we have got to understand that narcissism, narcissist, and NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, has no place in the church. Hence is why a lot of these churches are closed. God never said a word to them. God was never there. God had nothing to do with it at all. You were sitting in the church with the devil himself or herself and didn't realize it the whole time. Even though some of us knew something was wrong, but we had a problem with the herd. Because if you got 90% of everybody in the room and they all are following that pastor with that NPD, if they all are following that narcissistic personality disorder, and then you got the 10% over here, those are the truth tellers. Those are the ones with the intuition. They know something is wrong. They've been knowing it the whole time, but they just kind of been like going with the flow. I'm telling you today, don't go with no flow. Don't go with the flow. Because what does source or what does spirit say about that? Now, in my opinion, I'm going to tell you what I believe that source, spirit, God is saying about that. Listen, I literally believe that God is saying, well, I'm just watching you. Because you say that you know me. You say that you know my spirit. But you've been following this entity. And it's been speaking for me. But it's not me. I had nothing to do with that. And even though I love you, but you've been listening to it. You've been listening to this entity so long that you've been there and you've almost given up your whole entire life to this person. This person still don't care about you. This person still is not going to give you your props and your respect and the type of recognition that you deserve. And you say to yourself, well, I'm going to get it from God, but it ain't supposed to be like that. Because we're talking about now reciprocation. The narcissist cannot reciprocate. Says, Cheryl, what does that mean? That means that if you got 4 empaths and then you got 4 other empaths that come into a room, that means it's going to be some beautiful things going on in that room. It's going to be a compliment for a compliment. It's going to be, I'm going to pay for your lunch for you paying for my lunch. It's going to be, girl, you know, you are fantastic. You got good energy. And the other girl, she might like, and it's going to be reciprocation because it's going to be some good stuff going on. We're going to be vibing off of each other. It's a lot of goodness going on. Okay? That's what I mean by that. The narcissist can't reciprocate. They're not going to give you good vibes. They're going to come in and bring the hammer and shatter all the goodness. Because, and you say, Cheryl, why would the narcissist do that? Because they are empty inside. They are empty inside. And you might say, can y'all hear me still? You might say, well, what you mean, Cheryl? They are empty. They are just like a pot, a water pot, a flower pot. You know how some of the flower pots, they got the holes on the bottom? And you got the container and you're pouring the water into the flower pot, and then the water drains out the bottom. Therefore, they can't contain the goodness, the love, the empathy, the joy, and all of that. They can't do that. Do you see what I'm saying? So you, the congregation, been pouring into the narc leader for 40 years, and they still not been able to retain that moisture of love. They've not been able to do it. They are still dominating. They are still overbearing. They are still controlling. They are still, see what I'm saying? And then they don't never reassure you that God said everything is cool with you. They still making a list, checking it twice, going to find out if you naughty or nice. You never can pass your grade when you dealing with them. That's a narc. Me and other people with empathy, we know, listen, God ain't treating nobody like that. The earth experience is not, it's not an easy thing. And we are journeying through this thing. First of all, we never knew. The narc don't know that the reason why they are narcs, hey Dolores, the reason why they are narcs is because something happened to them in their childhood. But because of their mental illness, because I want to let y'all know, I don't know if y'all know or not, it's not that your pastor is just a person with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. It's not just that. They are mentally ill. That's a mental illness. They draw other narcissists too. You know why? Let me tell you why. Why would a narc draw other narcs? They're going to have empaths there because they live off of them. The empaths is going to be where the narcissists are. That's just how it's going to roll, okay? And that's why I'm here, to let the empaths know, get away from the narcissist. They are literally feeding out of the marrow from your bones. All of the goodness that God has blessed you with and put it in your body in this earth, the narcissist is extracting that. They need that to live, but they can't reciprocate because of their mental illness. It's a mental illness, y'all. It's just not a personality disorder. It is a mental illness. Somebody might say, sure, is it that serious? Yes. Therefore, let me tell you something too. There's another thing. People say, why are churches dying? People say, oh, it's the great falling away. No, it's not. It's not the great falling away. You've got millions of people that's been speaking for God and God ain't told them nothing. God ain't never said nothing to them at all. They've never tapped into God. They don't even know what or who God is. God is love. God is goodness. God is kindness. God reciprocates. Good energy, good vibes. These people don't have good energy and good vibes. They have a spirit of fear and intimidation on them. Folks are afraid of them. They got a spirit of, I want to please my narc so that they can be happy, but they never can be happy. You never can please the narcissist. You never can moisturize them the way that you want to, because they are just like that flower pot with the holes. All of the goodness you pour in comes out down here, seeps away. And then you're steadily pouring month after month, year after year, month after month, year after year. Next thing you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, now your youth is gone. 30 years is gone. You ain't never went nowhere, did nothing, never experienced life that you want. Why? Because the narcissist is greedy. The narcissist is greedy. They want you there. Wednesday night, Friday night, Sunday night, special services. They want you to give every service. They want you to use your talent every service. Now you go over to another church, and that's an empath over there at that church. They got their Bible too. They've extracted all the goodness from that book. They've given their congregation as much goodness that's in the book. They only have Wednesday night Bible study. They know that you got a life. They don't want you to worship them. They're empaths. They know that you're on a life journey. They want you to live your life. They want you to learn your lessons. They don't want you to have no consciousness of, oh, me, no God watching you. He gonna strike you down, and these things happen to you. What's wrong with the people in the church? They getting sick because they letting the narcissist drain the very marrow from their bone. That's where the sickness is coming from. They say, oh, the sickness is coming from sin. Yeah, it is the sin of worshiping you. The sin of worshiping you. I remember in my church days, I just got to tell it how it is, y'all. Y'all know that's what I do. I'm the truth teller. I couldn't worship my leader enough. The more I worship him, the more worship he wanted. I couldn't obey enough. The more I obeyed, the more he wanted me to obey. What do you want? I remember I said to him one day, what do you want? Do you want? Because I've submitted so much that I'm bleeding. I literally can smell blood from me. I'm betraying myself. Some of you have done that. You're betraying yourself. There's a part of you that says been telling you the whole time, this is not right, but you're following the herd. So my name is Cheryl. I'm a survivor of narcissistic abuse. I came all the way to tell you that there were so many questions that I had over my lifetime. What's wrong with this system? What is wrong with these people? What's wrong with me? What is going on? What is this? What is this? And I've asked myself the hardest questions. I didn't ask other people. I asked me. I asked me because I felt like, and I didn't know back then, but I know now, that you are the living being, the living soul, and that everything that you ever need is already inside of you anyway. So then I ask myself. So even back then, I was very highly spiritual, knowing to ask myself, what is this? What am I experiencing? What is this? What is going on? I feel like I'm dying on the inside. I'm doing all I can. I read my Bible. I fast and pray. I go to church when I'm supposed to. I give. I serve. I bring other people to the church. I got so many people that I led to God. I did, well, you know, I did it all. I mean, I might take you in the bathroom. You come out the bathroom, honey, you say, these people right here are still following that to this day. So I did everything that was on my list to do. Then I asked myself, something's wrong with this. Something's still wrong. Oh, I'm following a narcissist. There will be no reciprocation. There will be no reciprocation. They cannot reciprocate. They can only act, though. They can pretend to give back to you. They might give you little, what do you call those things? Little pieces of rewards. Little piece of breadcrumbs. Whether you married to a narcissist or you serve one at the church, they'll give you breadcrumbs here and there. A little piece of something. Here and there. A little piece. You know, being faithful for 5 years. Here you go. Here you go. A little piece of something. No not reciprocation, though. Not that. They want all the honor, all the glory, all the recognition, all the praise, all the special services, all the special offerings. They want it, and they are going to give it, get it. They feel like they deserve it. They feel like you should worship them. They are wounded children. Let's get into that. Somebody say, Cheryl, what you mean? What happened to them? How did they become that way? Something happened to them in their childhood. Psychologically. So basically what the scientists are saying, and y'all don't put down the scientists, because everything we do is based on science. Our food, our medicines, everything. Okay? So if we can validate a blood pressure pill or a diabetic pill, we can validate what the scientists say. Okay? Psychologically. Because psychologically, this is not babble. These are facts. So under the brain, because y'all, I'm very much into the brain, how the brain works. So under if they do an exam of the brain and they show you the x-ray of a brain, the brain of the narcissist versus a regular person is completely different. In the area, somewhere in the frontal lobe, where the emotions should be, the part of the brain that hold the emotions is like that. It would be the difference between the size of a pea and the size of a quarter. It's totally different. It's not the same. Okay? When we learn how to stop worshiping narcissists, then you can really serve God. Because God is not with them. God has never been with them. God has never been with them at all. They're flowing with something else. It's another type of entity. So y'all might say, Cheryl, come on now, Cheryl, that's a little bit too much. It is what it is. The truth is the light. Now, we always talk about Jim Jones. We all can say, attest to the fact Jim Jones was a devil. Right? But Jim Jones ain't the only devil. He's just one. Daddy Grace. That's another one. These people, their transgressions are worse than a pimp. You got preachers who profess to be one thing and they're an entirely different thing. They've been hiding. They've been masking the whole time. We as human beings, we have the ability to mask. Y'all call it in the professional world, y'all call it code switching. But in the world of psychology, that's called masking. And people can walk around all day with their mask on. Now folks are finding out that they're autistic, that they've always been autistic. And they've been masking. Their mask is that they're a regular person, but they're autistic. They're not regular. They've been living life and modeling themselves after folk trying to be normal. You know, because people tell you what's right and what's normal, how you should walk, how you should talk, how you should act, what you should do, what's appropriate and what's not. Okay? But with an autistic person, they're on another scale. If you have them to live the way that normal people live, they're going to get sick and they're going to pass away early. Because you're forcing them to wear a mask every day of their lives, and that's not them. So now people are finding out that they are autistic and they never knew that. And I'm here to tell you that narcissists have been standing in your pulpits. God ain't never said nothing to those people. They have been speaking, and there's another entity there that they do not have empathy, therefore they do not have love, and they are not called, but they are there. But the thing is about this is the thing. This is the beautiful side of the whole picture. You got preachers who are narcissistic, leaders who are narcissistic, traumatized issues. Let's get into that. They have grave issues along with their Bible and their anointings. All of it is mixed in there together. Hey, Kim, girl. All of it is mixed in there together. Now, check this out. When you are mentally ill, narcissistic, and you are a bishop, when you got childhood traumas, and you really same gender loving, but you've been masking like you are straight, but you're gay the whole time, what are you doing to other people? Now, we already know that when we speak, like me, this is my platform, and by the way, check me out on YouTube, that when we speak, it carries a certain type of vibration, okay? So if these words and spirits and everything that these narcissistic preachers carry, if they are letting this stuff come up out of them into your ear gate, then it is infecting you. And now you got 1,000 people who are infected with this narcissistic energy that they call God. When at the end of the day, it's pure mental illness. That's all it is. All right? It's just mental illness. It's mental illness. But I want to say this too on a light note. On a light note. Please stop letting people control your life. Now, I remember when I had to deal with this. I had to deal with it. Here go the rubber gonna meet the road. Doop, doop. I've been taught to obey. I've been taught that these people have, they've been ordained to speak into my life. Right? I'm just like other people. I've been taught the same way. I've been indoctrinated. That my brain has been taught certain things, and it wants to hold to what it's been taught, okay? And so I had to confront my fear. Now, somebody say, Cheryl, no, fear is real. It's one of the strongest emotions that we will deal with. When it comes to African Americans, we have more fear than other people. Probably because of what we went through in slavery days. I don't know. But we tend to struggle with fear more than other races, right? But you have to deal with your fear. The only thing that's keeping you from living your life the way that you desire to is fear. So on the opposite, on the other side is your life. Your life in the way that you want to live it. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to answer for it. Nobody else. There will be no apostles, no bishops, no preachers, no teachers, and no evangelists there when it's time for you to give up your life lease. They're not going to be there. And you can't say, well, they said, it's no, it's what you say. What did you say? I often tell people, look, this is how I see it. I feel like Spirit is saying, okay, this is me. I'm reading what Paul says. Behold, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. I am the righteousness of God. That's what I'm doing. So my indoctrinated mind tells me this is what Paul is saying here. So this is what Paul is saying. So this is what God is saying, right? But then my mind showed me, Paul, here's the writing. Here's the writing, right? That's the literature. The writing is implying that Paul is saying it. That's two different people. The writer and the person who's saying it. That's two different people. Then it's me. I'm the reader. I'm the observer. I'm reading it. And then there's God observing me, reading it, thinking about what Paul said, and knowing that the writer wrote. Did y'all catch that? Let me do it for you one more time. Okay? Because this is how you're going to get free. This is how it works. Behold, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have come new. The writer has inscripted this on paper. The writer. But when it was written, somebody is quoting Paul. He's the author, supposedly. Those are two people. I'm reading it now. My name is Cheryl. I'm reading what the writer said, Paul said, supposedly. And then God is observing me, observing Paul and the writer. That's 4 layers. 4. In everything that you ever read, that is how you read it. There's a writer. There's an author. There's you. You're the observer. And then you're the reader. And then God is observing you as you observe it to see what it says. The indoctrinated mind works like this. Behold, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things have passed away. All things have become new. The indoctrinated mind works like this. This is what God has said. I've got to do this. This is what this is saying about me. This is speaking to me. This is God. Instead of God being here as the observer, he's here on the page. Do y'all see the difference? That's the difference. That's the difference between an indoctrinated mind and one that is not indoctrinated. This is the difference between preschool and masters in a master's class. That's the difference. It's 2024. Welcome to my channel. Thank y'all, my page on Facebook. Thank you for coming here and to observe this teaching that I've done tonight. Please, if you come by in the replay, leave me a comment and let me know what you think about what I just said. The 2 different stances, 2 different stances. Where are you? Which one is you? My hopes and prayer that you be on this, you take this stance right here. Because it's 2024. You understand? And now we know better. We know better. Okay? Kisses and hugs. I'll see y'all on the next live. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye. Don't forget, y'all need to leave me some stars. Leave me some stars, okay? Because Cheryl is monetized here on Facebook. All right. Y'all have